Good evening, folks. Blitzball Champ is here. Some more Carolina Panthers talk here on the U to the Two. Okay. Wow. So the second and third rounds of the 2021 NFL Draft are now in the books. Um, this was very interesting to say the least. But let's talk about who Carolina ended up drafting in these rounds. So so far between the second and the third round, the Carolina Panthers traded back three times total and traded up once. I guess Mr. Fitterer wasn't playing around when he's, being known as the trade back king. And he definitely let the royal scepter of trade backs in these two rounds. But even at that, let's talk about who Carolina did draft. So of course we already know in the first round they went with J.C. Horn, cornerback out of South Carolina. In the second round, with the 59th pick, we ended up going with Terrace Marshall Jr., wide receiver out of LSU. Now, first off, one thing that sticks out to me about this guy, dude is tall, 6'2", 205 pounds, so he's a pretty big dude. His 2020 NCAA football stats: 48 receptions, 731 yards, and 10 touchdowns. And we have to remember, this is somebody that has played with Joe Burrow as well. The main thing that I see about this pick, which I did not expect us to go wide receiver that early in the second round. I was thinking we were going to go left tackle immediately. And, looking at a lot of names that were passed by, I mean, there are a lot of names in the draft that Carolina could have gotten, but they passed up on. I mean, you look at the second round. I mean, we passed up on Tevin Jenkins, Richie Grant, Trayvon Morag. We could have gotten a safety. Samuel Cosby, even Jeremiah OK out of Notre Dame. I mean, a lot of people were hopeful for that. So, I mean, there was a lot of folks passed up. And, we ended up trading down. We actually ended up trading back in the second round. I believe twice in the second round, traded up in the third round, and then traded down in the third round. So that was what happened. We traded back twice in the second round, once in the third round, and then but we traded up once in the third round and then back down in the third round. Okay, I had to make sure I got that right. But the main thing that I see with this pick is, one, potential Curtis Samuel replacement, and two, this gives competition at wide receiver, mainly between him and Robbie Anderson, because Robbie Anderson is entering his last year on his contract with Carolina this upcoming season, and if he does like he did last year, I mean, got over 1,000 yards, maybe if he can get more touchdowns, if he plays phenomenal, he's going to want to get paid. So, Terrace Marshall the Jr. could be good competition for Robbie Anderson. And, it was already made official that Carolina picked up the 5th-year option on DJ Moore. And, when it comes down to it, who are you going to pay, DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson? It's most likely going to be DJ Moore. Um, but, this could be deadly. Think about maybe seeing some spread offense from Joe Brady. I mean, LSU, so Joe Brady's worked with him before. Joe Burrow's worked with him before. So, I mean, hey, this could potentially be a dangerous wide receiver core. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall Jr., David Moore. And then, you throw in Christian McCaffrey, who you can split at wideout. I mean, it's another weapon added to the receiving core. It gives Sam Darnold another weapon. So, I mean, not who I thought that they would pick up, but hey, it's a big, tall weapon. It's got some good size on him, and it looks like he will be good competition with Robbie Anderson throughout the season. So, hey, it's a weapon. Um, and then going into the third round, uh, with the number 70th pick, Carolina went with Brady Christensen, offensive tackle out of BYU. Um, okay. So a few things that I wanted to point out with this one. Um, One, I'm glad that we finally got a left tackle. I was honestly thinking we were going to get a left tackle in the second round. That didn't happen. So this was who Carolina went with. Now, it sounds like pretty much Brady Christensen is going to be battling Cam Irving for that left tackle starting position. Um, his Pro Football Focus grade was a 96. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, look at the teams that BYU went up against. Not a lot of high credible teams. But I mean, look, just because they're not high credible teams doesn't mean that you downplay anybody that did their job well, that played their position well. I mean, I get it, but you can't continuously downplay somebody that did their job. Because when it comes down to it, if he comes in here and he does his job, regardless of how our schedule ends up looking, which we'll find out on May 12th, like, the fact is, as long as he comes in and he does his job and he does it well, regardless if we're playing, if we have the easiest schedule, the man did his job. At the end of the day, we got to keep that in mind. I mean, he did well, and he protected Zach Wilson's blind side. He was the main protector of his blind side, and apparently he did well. Not only that, he apparently impressed at his pro day. Now, I know one of the downsides is he's got smaller arms, got T-Rex arms, but I mean, it could fit what Joe Brady wants to run, and seems like he's a pure left tackle, 6'6", 300 pounds. I mean, it'll be an interesting battle between him and Cam Irving, but he could potentially be the starter, or I don't know if he's played. I don't know if he can play right tackle. Well, I mean, there's Taylor Moton that we pretty much have secured at that spot, but I mean, this could potentially end up being a great pick. So I mean, We needed a left tackle. We got one. Yeah, maybe we could have gotten one a little bit higher. I know I sure did. I mean, we were a pick away from getting Penei Sewell. But, I mean, and there's probably a few others we could have gotten. I mean, I know a lot of people saying we probably could have gotten, Samuel Cosme. Um, we could have gotten Walker Little. Could have gotten Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins, uh, which of course we traded with Chicago, and who did they get? Tevin Jenkins. So had the chance to get him, but we didn't. But I mean, we'll just have to see how this Brady Christensen worked out. I mean, he protected the blind side of Zach Wilson. Apparently, had a very impressive pro day. I mean, sounds like Carolina really has faith and hope in him that he could potentially beat out Cam Irving for the starting position. I mean, from what I'm hearing with the free agency acquisition of Cam Irving, it didn't sound like a lot of people were high on him anyway. So, yeah. And then the third pick that we the last pick that we made, number 83, in the third round, we went with Tommy Tremble. Tommy Tremble, tight end out of Notre Dame. I really don't have a lot to say about this one other than he's pretty much the Chris Manhertz replacement. He's the Chris Manhertz replacement. So known for his solid blocking, so he's mainly a blocking tight end. Only has 35 catches for 401 yards and 4 touchdowns in his 2 seasons at Notre Dame, so not a lot of catches. But, like I said, the Chris Manhertz replacement. So, I mean, probably not the tight end that a lot of people were thinking. I mean, especially considering Hunter Long was there, Pat Ferma from Penn State was there. I don't know if I said that name right, but I mean, there's your tight end, and it's a blocking tight end mainly, but it looks like if need be, he can make catches. So, I mean, Ian Thomas, Dan Arnold, Tommy Tremble. I mean, there's really not much for me to say other than he's the Chris Manhertz replacement. So, and Chris Manhertz was known and did very well as a blocking tight end. So I mean, I don't know. I just overall with the second and third round, I mean, the only thing I can say is, Carolina did address some needs at tight end, at cornerback, wide receiver, and offensive tackle. So, I mean, there's that. And like I said, I know a lot of people, are upset, and I get it. We did a lot of trade backs. And, for all those watching, like, I definitely want your input on this because, I mean, really, there's still a lot that I quite didn't understand. So please help me to understand. But, I mean, at the end of the day, whatever Coach Rule, Mr. Fitterer sees, I mean, they're honing in on it. And, we could say all that we want about Scott Fitterer, good and bad, even if it's more bad than good. But I mean, we have to trust that he knows what he's doing, some way, somehow. That he knows what he's doing. I mean, he was with the Seattle Seahawks for all three Super Bowl appearances that they had. So I mean, we just have to see how this goes. I mean, this draft for Carolina has been really weird, and a lot of stuff out of left field here, a lot of stuff out of outfield there. Weird. But we'll just have to see what happens. We'll have to really see what happens. I mean, we got a high level cornerback that's a potential shutdown corner, something that we're lacking. We got ourselves another weapon at wide receiver to add to Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, David Moore. Got a left tackle. Got some protection for Sam Darnold, and there's still much to build on that. And we got a tight end that's a blocking tight end, which is something that we had before, and this is the replacement. So I mean, I'm just trying to look at the positives as best as I can from this, because there's a lot of things Carolina could have done. Carolina could have gotten Justin Fields. Yeah, they could have gotten Justin Fields. They could have gotten Tevin Jenkins. They could have gotten Jeremiah OK. You know, there's a lot of people they could have got. Trayvon Moreg, they could have gotten him. I mean, there's a lot of folks. But like I said, you know, I don't know if possibly they may try to add somebody in free agency post draft. But I mean, we got rounds 4 through 7 left. And looking at these remaining rounds, so we know Carolina has a 4th round pick now, the 109th pick. So they have the 109th pick in the 4th round. So they got an early pick in the 4th round. In the 5th round, they have the 158th pick in the 5th round. And then we have the 193rd pick in the 6th round, the 204th pick in the 6th round, and the 222nd pick in the 6th round. Yeah. So, I mean, if anything, I mean, we did get one of those 6-rounders, you know, because I know we got one for Teddy Bridgewater. And also we're getting an extra 4th rounder in next year's draft. So I mean, pretty much, you know, the 4th rounder that we gave up for Sam Darnold, getting that right back. So I mean, so yeah, so there's that, and I'm pretty sure we don't have a 7th round pick. Yeah, so we have no 7th round pick. So yeah, we have one 4th rounder. A 5th rounder. And 3 6-rounders. So a 4th, a 5th, and 3 6-rounders remaining in this draft. So, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna potentially get a. I know we still kind of need another prospect at safety. Could get another offensive lineman. Maybe see about getting a defensive lineman, like maybe another defensive tackle, or actually linebacker. I was thinking maybe linebacker. But it seems like on paper a weird draft, but if anything, we have 5 more picks We got 5 more picks. So we've made 4 picks so far, and we got 5 more to go. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah. What do y'all think? What do y'all think overall of the picks in the second and third round that Carolina did? Wide receiver Terrace Marshall Jr. out of LSU, Brady Christensen, offensive tackle out of BYU, and Tommy Tremble, tight end out of Notre Dame. What do y'all think of those picks? Like, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell so you don't miss any video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram signing off. Hope everybody has a blessed weekend. See y'all soon. Peace.